What a start to the season for the Golden State Warriors. 2 games in, 2 wins, and fans are already starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, this squad has another deep playoff run in them. But before we all get too excited, let's break it down. Because yeah, a win is a win, but if you watched that game last night with the Nuggets, you know it was far from perfect. Steph Curry dropped 32 points like it was nothing. Just another day at the office for the greatest shooter this game has ever seen. But here's the problem. It felt like it was only Steph out there doing the heavy lifting. Sure, there were some flashes. Jimmy chipped in a bit. Draymond brought his usual energy. Kuminga had his moments. Pods did a little. But when you look at the box score, it's basically the Steph Curry show. And look, we've seen that movie before. It's a great movie. We love it. But we also know how it ends if nobody else steps up. Because if teams figure out a way to slow Steph down, which is always the #1 priority for every defense, can we really count on Jimmy to suddenly drop 25 on command? Or Kuminga to take over? I'm not convinced. Not yet. Now, let's talk about defense for a second. Because giving up 50 points to Aaron Gordon? That's wild. We're talking about a guy who, no disrespect, is not exactly the first name that comes to mind when we talk about elite scorers in the league. Yet he torched the Warriors from everywhere. 10 out of 11 from deep? That's ridiculous. 17 for 21 from the field? That's insane efficiency. He was out there looking like prime Ray Allen mixed with Karl Malone. And Joker, Jokic, didn't even have one of his best nights and still walked away with 21. That says a lot. The Warriors might have taken a win in overtime, but they let Denver hang around all game long, and it almost cost them. And that's the thing. This wasn't some easy, comfortable win. It was a grind, a game that needed overtime to finish. After we already watched Oklahoma City and Indiana go at it in a double overtime marathon just before. It's early in the season, legs are still fresh, but man, we can't be needing bonus time every night to scrape by. Especially not if the goal is to get back to the finals and take the crown. But while we're on the topic of OKC, let me just say, watching them struggle to close out games, even though they've managed to go 2-0, raises a big red flag for me. 2 back-to-back double overtime games to start the season? That doesn't scream dominance. That screams, we got lucky. It shows teams are ready for them, already game planning hard, already challenging them. And when you're the defending champs, that's the reality. You get everyone's best shot. But if you can't put teams away in regulation, especially when you're supposed to be that team, then yeah, maybe you're not ready to run it back. Now, let's bring it back to the Warriors. What I did like from last night's game was the physicality. They came out with the right energy, tried to match up strong against Jokic early, and for a while it worked. They disrupted his rhythm just enough to keep him from dominating. But again, that didn't translate to stopping Gordon, who pretty much did whatever he wanted. The Warriors had no answer for him. He was getting it done from 3 from mid-range. In the paint, on the boards, it was a clinic. And yeah, you could chalk it up to a hot night, but when someone gets that hot, you have to make adjustments. It felt like Golden State just didn't do that. And that leads into another concern, the depth at center. Here we go again, playing another game against a legit 7-footer. And who do we have in the paint? Quinn and Post. That's it. One true 7-footer, and he got what? 4 minutes of court time last night? That's a problem. You look ahead and see who's next on the schedule. Trailblazers tonight, and then the Grizzlies after that with Zach Edey waiting for us. That's 3 straight matchups where size could be an issue. Al Horford and Draymond can only do so much. They're tough, they're physical, they're smart, no question. But against guys that big, that skilled, you need more. Either give Quinn more time to develop and prove himself, or go get someone who can fill that role before it costs you down the line. Now on a lighter note, I got to bring up this fun little storyline brewing between Jimmy and Draymond. Apparently, Jimmy made a friendly bet with Draymond that he'd shoot a higher free throw percentage than Steph this season. Yes, Steph Curry. I mean, come on, that's bold. That's funny. And it's probably a bet he's going to lose. But I love that energy. I love the competitive fire behind it. It shows that Jimmy is really trying to push himself and set that bar high. And that's the kind of mindset you want in your locker room. Let's look at the numbers so far. Jimmy went 7 for 8 last night, which is solid. But Steph? He went 8 for 8. So now, through 2 games, Steph's sitting at a perfect 100% from the line. Jimmy's at 95%. Not bad at all, but that's already a gap. And the thing is, Steph's been doing this for over a decade. He's one of the best free throw shooters in NBA history. So Jimmy's going to need a monster season from the stripe just to stay close. But hey, if he keeps getting to the line, keeps being aggressive, you never know. And honestly, I hope this little side challenge continues all year long because it's fun, it's lighthearted, and it actually helps the team in the long run. The more aggressive Jimmy is, the better. And you just know there's something at stake. Probably not money. Maybe a dinner, maybe some bragging rights, maybe a little friendly humiliation. Picture Jimmy showing up to dinner in the Bay wearing a custom free throw champ belt, holding court at some steakhouse in the marina while Steph just laughs. That's the kind of stuff that builds chemistry and brings a team closer together. And I'm all for it. But just when we're having fun with that, boom, the NBA gets hit with a scandal that could shake the whole league. Damon Jones, Terry Rozier, and Chauncey Billups reportedly arrested for illegal betting activity. And look, this isn't just some small slap on the wrist stuff. This is federal. This is FBI-level criminal charges, jail time type stuff. And if you're comparing it to the Tim Donaghy scandal from back in the day, this might actually be worse. Because it's not just one rogue referee. We're talking about multiple players, coaches, insiders, allegedly using confidential info to manipulate outcomes and profit off of it. That's a disaster. And the worst part? The NBA apparently already looked into Rozier before and cleared him. Cleared him, while the feds were still investigating. That's a terrible look for the league. It makes the NBA's internal investigations look soft, incomplete, maybe even intentionally blind. And now, Adam Silver's got a major crisis on his hands. He's been a solid commissioner overall, more focused on growing the league globally, improving player relationships, expanding the brand. But this might be his defining moment. How he responds to this gambling scandal could shape his entire legacy. You think back to David Stern and how he handled discipline. He didn't play around. He came down hard when he needed to, especially when the integrity of the game was at risk. And that's what this is, a threat to the integrity of the game. Fans need to believe what they're watching is real, that nobody's fixing outcomes, that everything on the court is legit. And if that trust breaks, it's a long way back. And honestly, this could be just the beginning. You don't think there are more names involved? More players? More staff? More info leaks? This could spread like wildfire. And if you're the Warriors, you've got to be hoping none of your guys are even remotely tied to it. But let's be real. Not every player makes Steph money. Some of the young guys, some of the fringe rotation players, they might be more tempted. That's the scary part. It's a web. And once you start pulling at the threads, you never know what else might unravel. And here's the thing that's been keeping a lot of people up at night. The sheer scale of this whole gambling mess. When you have names like Gilbert Arenas reportedly getting dragged into it, and rumors swirling that he might have been one of the guys cooperating with investigators, it adds even more fuel to the fire. And yeah, people are joking that he was singing like a canary, but if that's true, then this situation runs way deeper than anyone thought. Because when a former All-Star starts spilling names and timelines, you know it's not just about a few rogue bets anymore. It's about a network, about systems, about patterns of behavior that could go back years. The kind of stuff that makes you question who knew what and when. And look, let's not pretend this is just about one or two players making dumb choices. The accusations here are serious. Inside information being shared, prop bets being manipulated, former players allegedly pulling strings behind the scenes to get unsuspecting people into illegal games just to wipe them out. That's next-level shady. And the timing couldn't be worse for the league. Because right now, there's more access than ever to gambling platforms. You got betting apps on every phone, live odds flashing across broadcasts, partnerships between the NBA and sportsbooks like it's no big deal. But clearly, it is a big deal. Because if people inside the league are starting to abuse that access, it calls everything into question. And let's not forget, the whole reason commissioners exist in pro sports in the first place traces back to gambling scandals. Way back in 1919 with the infamous Black Sox scandal. That's when baseball realized they needed a strong, independent figure to protect the integrity of the sport. The NBA followed that model. And yet, here we are over 100 years later, And the same threats are back, just dressed in modern clothes, with apps instead of bookies and odds boosted by corporate sponsorships. It's wild. It's frustrating. And if Adam Silver doesn't slam the brakes on all this right now, he risks letting this become the NBA's new identity. And here's something nobody's talking about enough. The fact that this kind of scandal might not just stay in a league office. It could touch ownership too. Think about it. One of the more powerful ownership figures is Tillman Fertitta, who owns both an NBA team and a massive casino empire. You really think there won't be questions? Conflict of interest alarms are already going off. And if it turns out any business dealings cross a line, that becomes another front in this firestorm. It's not just about banning a few players or coaches. This might be about reevaluating the whole structure, how much influence gambling companies have over the league, and whether that's even sustainable moving forward. And you know what? Maybe it's time to go back to basics. Rip the whole thing out. Cut off all partnerships with betting platforms. Because the second the league got into bed with FanDuel, Caesars, ESPN Bet, all of them, it felt like a shortcut, like a way to make a lot of quick money without really thinking through the long-term consequences. But the long-term is here now, and it's ugly. You've got federal arrests. You've got player credibility being questioned. You've got fans wondering if what they're watching is scripted or real. That's not the kind of league you want to run. And all of this is happening while the Warriors are trying to stay locked in and keep their season rolling. That's got to be a mental challenge in itself. Because even if no one on your team is involved, just knowing that the league is under a microscope can be distracting. It shifts the energy. Guys start thinking about things they normally wouldn't. Every interaction starts to feel different. Every reporter question carries a little extra weight. It's not easy to tune that out, even for a veteran team, and especially for the young guys who might be trying to find their footing in the league. Now they're getting hit with questions about scandals and arrests before they've even played 10 meaningful games. That's not what development is supposed to look like. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Whispers are swirling around the NBA as one of its brightest stars, Giannis Antetokounmpo, reportedly received an eye-catching offer from the Golden State Warriors. Sources close to the situation suggest that the Greek freak has been approached with a proposal that could reshape the league's landscape when the 2026 season rolls around. While nothing is set in stone, the mere hint of Giannis potentially joining a roster already stacked with talent has sent shockwaves through basketball circles. The details of the rumored offer remain under wraps, but insiders say the Warriors are pulling out all the stops to entice the two-time MVP. The timing is what has analysts particularly intrigued. Giannis has a contract that secures him with the Milwaukee Bucks for the next few seasons, yet 2026 appears to be the pivotal year. Conversations behind closed doors indicate that the Bucks are aware of the looming possibility, fueling a tension-filled saga that could culminate in one of the NBA's biggest moves in recent memory. Fans on social media are already speculating about the chemistry Giannis could bring alongside Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. Some predict a dynasty-in-the-making scenario, while others caution that integrating a superstar of Giannis' caliber could disrupt the current Warriors' rhythm. Meanwhile, veteran NBA commentators have been teasing the potential storylines, suggesting that even the whispers alone could influence trade strategies and draft plans as early as next season. Despite the frenzy, Giannis himself has remained enigmatic. Sources claim he acknowledged the Warriors' offer with a calm, almost cryptic statement, leaving room for speculation but no concrete confirmation. It seems clear, however, that 2026 is the year everything might change, whether Milwaukee can keep their franchise cornerstone or whether the Golden State dream becomes a reality. Until then, the rumor mill is in overdrive, and basketball fans everywhere are counting the days until the Greek Freak's next chapter unfolds. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.